Wouldn't it be amazing to feel whole? Whole deep within yourself and with everything around you. I believe that that is one of the key, not aspirations, but one of the key things that we truly are, and yet we forget. Because instead of being whole, what we actually end up doing is filling the holes in our lives. Let me explain. Feeling whole means that you don't need anything around you. You don't need anything from yourself because you already are that infinite, beautiful perfection of consciousness manifesting in yourself in this current 3D physical manifestation on this current plane of timeless and universes. So that is the reality, which we forget. Because when we come here, we already know all of this, but then we are being installed all of this programming, probably made to control us, and most importantly, not just control us, but make us forget our infinite perfection. And so instead of being whole, we're actually feeling empty, we're feeling damaged, we're feeling incomplete. And that's where, what a beautiful butterfly. And that's where we need to fill these holes in our lives. And how do we do it? We get installed other programs such as, you need to have this thing, you need to achieve XYZ, you need to buy ABC, you need to, just create this life that allows you to fill these holes so that you actually feel complete. A very powerful example is relationships. I mean this with no judgment, and I've been guilty of this my whole life, to be honest. When we seek relationships of any sort, loving relationships, friends, peers, or any kind of relationship, it depends where we come from. Are we coming from a whole and grounded state? Or are we coming from a frame of, if I become friends with this person, or if I'm in this relationship with this woman, I will be whole again, finally. That is the wrong frame, and yet that is how we usually operate. Because everything stems from how we feel, from our starting point. Because if we feel whole and grounded and complete, then it doesn't mean that we need to live on a remote island without being in contact with people. But what it means is when we engage with others, we do it from a very different energetic frame because we're whole. So we don't need to take. We can give and we can share. So that is what a real deep connection is. It's coming from a deep state with yourself, a whole state, and also the other person needs to feel that and to be and embody that. And so when that happens, it's beautiful because it's not just a sum, but it's an amazing exponential growth within yourself, within the other person, and within that specific relationship. So what all this means is, let's try to ask ourselves, without judgment, but with compassion, in which area of our lives are we filling holes? And this, I can give you an example. Recently, I realized the company that I was building, which was called Beyond Sapiens, was actually a way to fill a big hole that I had, which was this not feeling worthy, not feeling like enough. And so, if I create a big company and I make a lot of money and I help a lot of people, then yes, finally, I will be complete. Finally, people will understand me. But then I actually found this wholeness, this completeness, and this self-love, not from doing things, but from receiving, from connecting deep within myself. And I will go deep into this with other videos. But then what happened was, once that clicked, I was like, oh, why am I doing this? No, I don't want to do this. Because then in the moment that you hit the switch and you look at the reality from a different perspective, then you're realizing that actually most of the things that you were doing were not driven by this being and feeling whole and complete, but they were driven from this lack state, from this incompleteness state. And so what happens is you just end up organizing your life in all of these different modalities to feel whole. But wouldn't it be amazing not to need any of that, but just being who you really are, remembering who you really are? And so that then whenever you want to contribute through your work, through your community, with yourself, with your family, with your friends, with your peers, with the environment, then you do it from a very, very different state. You bring a whole different energy into what you do. And then what happens is you will be actually aligned with the flow of the universe. And so when that happens, things just start coming to you. Not because you are seeking them, but because you are embodying this perfection that you already are. And so, again, to wrap this up, let's sit with this question. For example, tonight before going to bed, you can ask yourself, so that your subconscious and all of the infinite realms accessible through dreams will guide you and will help you. And so you can ask yourself, in which areas of my life am I doing things, am I being things, am I saying things to fill holes that I have in my soul, even though my soul is complete, but I think I have these holes. And so what do I have to let go of in order to feel complete?